our next speaker, Ms. Shaheena, is going to take us to. She is talking about the importance of coaching and mentoring for us transformational experience at workplace.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a partner, wife, husband, or a significant other in your life? Yes. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever try to change them? Were you able to do that? No. Somewhat. How about others from the back? Were you able to change them? It is the most stupidest thing that you can ever do in your life, trying to change an adult. Change should always come from within. So today we are going to talk about that change through coaching. Is it working? Until this works, let's do a breathing exercise. Oh, okay, it's working. Thank you. So I want you to turn to the person in your right and say, give a high five to the person. Your right means that side. Okay, anyway. Give a high five. How much is there on your left? Give a high five. How do you give a high five? Raise both hands and give a high five. And say, you are awesome. You are enough. And you are worthy. Okay, thank you. You all are worthy for the transformation. You all are enough. When we try in this world, because of the several things, several hurdles, we feel that we are not enough. Do you agree? Okay. So let me tell you a bit about myself, how I came into coaching. In the year 2009, I was struggling personally. That was a divorce, and I didn't know how to move forward. I was stuck. Then, like Bharti said, I took the difficult action. I accepted my worst case scenario because I read from Dale Carnegie. When you are in a problematic situation, instead of thinking about the problem, start listing down your solutions. I listed my solutions, and the worst case scenario was live in Male and flee to my parents' home. I did that. Do you know the situation of me during that time? I had 2 broken vertebrae over my neck, 2 boys holding my hand, and no money, no job. And the kid's father said, there'll be no financial assistance. Can you imagine myself? As I was unable to stand up, I picked a book that was dusting on my side table. Anybody knows what the book is? It was a book by Jack Canfield, How to Go from Where You Are to Where You Wanted to Be. Jack Canfield is a success coach. And I followed the book, did all the exercises he mentioned. And by the end of the book, I had a life vision. For 29 years, I was just swaying with the wind. Because it was morning, I wake up, and because it was night, I had to sleep. There was no purpose in my life. But from that moment, life was different. Life is different. I made a difference in my life because of that one decision I took in my life. And past 12, 13 years, I've been struggling myself. I've been working hard to become a coach. In the year 2018, I completed my Master's of Business Administration, and then I realized something. Because for the past 8 years, I've been trying to become a coach, and then suddenly I realized, okay, the ladder of my life is hanged to a wrong wall, and I'm climbing. I was 20 feet above, and suddenly I had to get down. Hang the ladder onto a different wall, and again starting. But I'm very fortunate due to the pandemic and all the difficult situations I have to go through again. Today, I have achieved the foundation of what I want to be. I'm a certified executive coach from Marshall Goldsmith Executive Coaching. I'm also a leadership speaker, coach, and trainer from John Maxwell. Sorry. I'm doing my facilitation program at the moment. So life is beautiful for me, and I want it to be for all of you. Afif gave me an interesting topic, something very related to me. Importance of coach, sorry, is it going back? Importance of coaching and mentoring for a transformational experience. So let's try to understand what coaching is. Coaching is just communicating with the other person. It is understanding, listening to help somebody remove those blocks in their life so that they can be a better person. It's not thinking about the past, but it's always about the future. Where are you now and where do you want to go in the future? I have some definitions for you. The first one, help people move from where they are to where they want to be. Additionally, to navigate obstacles. So it's always about the obstacles in your life and then move forward. Again, another definition. This says a thought-provoking conversation. So coaching is about you. It's not about me going to do this. It's not that. It's a thought-provoking conversation to help you to become a better person. I've got another definition also from the International Coaching Federations. They say coaching is partnering with the client in a thought-provoking. Again, the same word came there. So it's a thought-provoking conversation. It's listening to someone so that the person can express what is holding them in their life. Now, when it comes to a coach, there are several. In 2019, after my certified professional coach certification, when I come and tell people I'm a coach, the first thing people will ask me is, are you a football coach? A basketball coach? People are not aware in all this what a coach is. But in the international arena, it's totally different. From the CEO to the person who is staying at home, they have a coach. So let's try to understand the difference between a coach and a counselor. When we talk about a counselor, it's always somebody who is there to help you with the past trauma. Let's take an example. Let's say you have an open wound in your hand. The wound is raw. When we touch it, it flinches. So if you want to move ahead, you have to first heal this one. The therapist or the counselor is the person who will help you, who will sit with you and try to identify what is happening, what happened, where did it start, and then help you heal that. But rather, let's imagine that same wound is there, but it is healed. Even if you touch, it's not flinching. So with that wound, the pain you got from the wound, you can move forward. What did the pain teach you? You can move forward with that experience. Like when I hit the rock bottom stage in my life, I was able to pick myself up and then be the person I am today. I'm able to stand in front of all of you because of that pain. So the coach and counselor, there's the difference. Now let's look at the mentor. The title also says coaching and mentoring. Mentor is somebody who is experienced, who is an expert in a specific field of you. Let's say we have, what is your name, sir? Rao, right? We have Rao. He is an expert in his field. He's talking about post-pandemic differences, right? So if Leash wants to get mentored, he will be talking about what he did and guiding you on to proceed from his path. But the coach is not a mentor, because coach will sit with you, listen to you, everything should come from you, from within you. The mentor won't tell you. So it's the difference. Now let's look at the consultant. Consultant is somebody who comes with some deliverables for you. The person will come with the expert advice, give you a training, a workshop, and then teach you how to do certain things. But again, the coach will sit with you. The coach doesn't have deliverables for you. It is you who should come up with the deliverables. It is you who should say, this is my vision, these are the things I have to do, and the coach will push you. The coach will become a safe net for you. When you are falling down, the coach will try to pick you up, say that, okay, you are going back again. Let's stand up and do it again. Now, you would ask, why do we need a coach? Any idea? Why do we need a coach? Yes, Marie. Yeah.
We need a coach to see ourselves as in you. They help you define you.
Yes, thank you, Marie. So we need a coach because they need a, but let's go back to why we exist. As human beings, we are sent to earth by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we have certainly created men into hardship. So it's a natural process. Whatever we go through, it's a very natural process. We have to learn to deal with it. So as a coach, we are trying to help you to deal with your daily problems. It might be a curveball, it might be a health issue, it might be anything. Then let's look at Hadith. Prophet Muhammad said, the blind person is not someone who has lost his eyesight, but rather someone who has lost his insight. You have your eyes, you can see the world, but you can't move ahead. You're going back and back. So the coach is there to push you. Now let's look at a research person. According to Shahed Zahrai, she says, we have somebody very close to us. The person is always with us, but the person is your most disturbing, destructing critic. Who is the person? Yourself, right? It stays here in our mind, our inner deceiver. And she says this inner deceiver can be described in 5 archetypes. The first one is the classic judge. What would the classic judge do? Whatever you want to do, whatever you are not doing, the classic judge will try to judge you, stop you, blame you for everything outside your control. If somebody blames you for everything outside of your control and then you accept it, what happens? You are stuck. Usually, as per psychologists, this happens because of the parenting we receive when we are children. If the parent is criticizing, if the parent is too pressuring the kids, when the kid grows up, the kid internalizes this and feels that I'm never enough. I cannot accept anything positive in life. So that's what the classic judge is doing. Have you any one of you experienced a classic judge disturbing you? Okay, I can see some hands. Let's look at the second person. This is the victimizer. So the victimizer says, the universe is conspiring against you. Whatever you try to do, oh, no, don't do that. Why? Because it tries to protect you. It would say, you are too small, too old, and you are not able to, you can't do that. So that victimizer will continuously criticize you, and because of that, you will feel, why should I do? If I get any opportunity, I'm sure I'll screw it up. And then you will stay behind and not do anything. So that's what the victimizer is doing. And then the third person is the misguided protector. Whenever you try to do something, you say, whoa, slow down. You are not ready for this. You can't do it. And because of that, you feel, okay, I can't do it. I'm too old. This happened with me. In 2019, I got certified and I wanted to market myself as a coach. So I started doing YouTube videos. But after the first video, and then the second video came as per schedule, but then I thought, oh, no, I can't do this. People will criticize me. He will say this, he will say this. And because of that, I stopped. I stopped for almost 1.5 years. And then one day I realized, whatever they say, let's say whatever Sultana says, I'm not worried. If I have that flaw in me, that's okay. I can still add value. So I started adding value. For 3 years, my Facebook account had only 700 followers. But when I accepted this and started taking action, today, within the next 5 months, I have 9,000 followers in my Facebook account. Now the fourth one, this is called the ring maker. This is about productivity guilt. So you try to overwork yourself. You are not always feeling enough because you don't feel enough. You will try to do things beyond your capacity. You will try to work hard so that your boss is happy with you. This is usually happening because, again, with the critics of the parent. Let's say a bright child, he brings an A report, and then the parent says, "Hey, Afif, why didn't you get an A star?" Like Miss Aisha is doing. Like we compare our kids. We always say, "Why didn't you do that like your cousin did, your brother did?" And because of this comparison, our kids internalize this. And they think, okay, we have to do this over and again. Let's take an example. When you are hit by the ring maker, what happens is, the moment you complete one project, you will jump into the one. And then again, you finish one course, you jump into the next one. And then again, because you are never feeling enough. You never feel accomplished in your life. You can't slow down because of the ring maker. And then the fifth one is neglector. Because you are not enough, you will say, why should I even do it? You will neglect yourself. You will give up the projects that you get because you are not enough. Now, this is a psychological perspective why we need a coach. Now, we're all here professionals sitting for a professional experience. This is what Gallup says. Only 20% of the full-time employees are engaged at work. What about the 80%? Any idea what the 80% is doing? I'm missing it, right? Sorry? They are not engaged. That means they are always looking for the next job. Why is it? Because they are feeling not appreciated and all those reasons. Because of these reasons, you need somebody to guide you. It's not because there are coaches available, but you feel like because you are created and you have these challenges, these blocks, you want to get help. Now, the question is, can a coach really help me? So when my clients call me, the first thing they would ask is, can you help me really? Like 1 hour of coaching, 12 sessions. These questions will come up. Recently, I did a marketing call with one of the government organization. Like they have the budget, I know. Okay. Usually government organizations can't do things because they don't have the budget. And I gave a presentation about executive coaching. After a 30-minute presentation, what they said is, will that work? Will the people accept coaching and accept suggestions to go forward? So if we are backwarded, and if we think this was what is happening in the past, so I can't go on. That's a problem we all need to address. So Gallup says, through studying, the best managers do differently. So successful managers, what they do differently is managing an act of coaching, not administrating or directing. So they are saying that when people start coaching instead of managing or directing, they can make a difference. Also, Gallup's most famous leadership breakthrough, this was discussed in their site last year. They say 70% of the variance in employee retention, job satisfaction, is based on the manager. Just the manager, how the manager is dealing with their subordinates. So as a manager, now the blame is on all of us. Are we dealing with our employees the right way? Are we coaching them? Instead of giving a to-do list and asking them to complete one by one, are we coaching them? Now, to do this, you have to announce to your all of the employees that we are in a cultural change. We are going to transform ourselves. And then you have to sit with each individual person so that you can buy them. All these speakers were talking about the why. Why should we do something? So before you introduce this transformational culture into the organization, always tell your staff why are we doing it, why we need to transform, and then through coaching, you can make a difference in the organization. This is again Gallup's advice. They say you have to have one meaningful conversation with each member per week. So it's not every day you sit with your employees and talk to them, but once per week. It can be a coffee. It shouldn't be in your office meeting room, like, let's sit down, I'm going to instruct you. It's not like that. But it can be coffee outside. But talk to the staff, understand them. We all were talking about, like Iyaz was saying, empathy is important. Yes, Iyaz can bring robots here, but the robots can't take our empathy, how we can listen, how we can ask the right questions. Of course, a question can be fed, but they can't listen like we do. So the empathy is really important. I have some more data. Institute of Coaching says when they engage a coach, there is 70% improvement for the employees. 80% of the companies who hired a coach, they were able to cover the investment. So it is really important, you as an organization, as a leader, to have a coaching culture in your organization. To save time, I'll go through. Now, just whether it would work, I brought a testimonial from one of my clients. I asked her to just give me a testimonial. And then from there, I chose the right, okay, sometimes I don't know if you would check on me every now. Before that, guide me, you listen to me and help me realize things that I sometimes don't know. So this is what a coach is doing. The person is just sitting with you and listening to you. When you start talking, when you feel a safe space is there for you to talk, things come out. Usually you can't go and talk to anybody. Let's say Ahmad went and talked to Lish, what would happen? There is the fear that Lish would tell it to you, right? I mean, Lish is a counselor, of course she wasn't do it. But then this is the fear we have. If I tell this to anybody, I'm afraid that this will go into the whole society. So we are afraid to discuss our inner problems. Now, the question is, how do we do it? So I'll explain two ways. The first one is by asking powerful questions and listening on multiple levels. We listen when you are speaking. We also listen when you are not speaking. We listen to your body language, how you take the poses. We synthesize this information with the client and ability to establish trust and good rapport with the client. Variety of exercises, tools. We were talking about the consultant, the mentor. Of course, we also use those tools, but before that, we listen and we understand the situation. We make sure that the client does it. Now, this is a transformational process I have developed. Let's forget it for the moment. Now, let's come back to this. Peter Drucker, this is one of the management experts. He says, we spend a lot of time helping others learn what to do, but we forget to tell them what to forget. So we are saying, do this, do this, do this. But he is saying, don't do this. Don't do this. Why is it? Now, according to Marshall Goldsmith, he says there are 20 ineffective behaviors in leadership. So when you are a leader, sometimes you can't go from here to where you want to go because of these things that you are doing. The first one, promoting my value. So it says adding too much value, claiming credit that we do not deserve, passing judgment. Whenever somebody says something, no, but, however, we start. We don't listen, but we say, no, but, however, let's do this, let's do this. When somebody brings an idea, we try to put our things inside. Okay, do this way, we say. So because of these things, you can't go from where you are to where you want to be. You sometimes have to stop these behaviors. And then the second one is empowering the ego. So an excessive need to be me, passing the buck, refusing to express regret. My time is over, so I'll just rush it. And this is the Marshall Goldsmith executive coaching model. In this model, what we do is we go and sit with the client and we try to identify what is the situation. We interview those 11 or 12 people working around the person. Also, we do an assessment to understand what is Rao's leadership strengths and weakness. We take 2 weaknesses from this and then start the coaching process. And we have 8 or 9 stakeholders who will work on this coaching project. So if I want Ahmad and have these 5 people, when Ahmad wants to change, and if Ahmad has changed, it's not Ahmad who would say, I have changed. It's not me as the coach who would say that Ahmad has changed, but it's the people who are working with Ahmad who would say, yes, Ahmad has changed. So this is a different type of executive coaching. It's not a one-time process, but rather a one-year engagement. So we try to remove or eliminate 2 ineffective behaviors, leadership behaviors. That's why it's taken 1 year. When we want to change a behavior, we can't do it overnight, but rather we have to work on it. According to Marshall Goldsmith, 95% of the people who have engaged executive coaching, they have improved. But still, in our culture, we are resisting. We are saying, will it work? Is this going to work in our society? We can't accept when somebody says, okay, stop this one. What can we do? We need to have that mindset. We need that transformation. Now let's do an exercise. This is called feed-forward suggestion. So feed-forward is something different. Usually what do we do? When somebody did something, we would give feedback. But instead, in this method, this is a process in the executive coaching cycle. What we do is we give feed-forward suggestions. So I would like all of you to stand up to do this exercise. Thank you. You're sitting too long and somebody is sleeping. So it's like important. Right. Okay, thank you. So this is how this will work. You pick one person, the next person sitting with you as your partner, and you have to tell the person that I would like to change and tell something. Let's say, as an example, I would like to be better at public speaking. What can I do? Can you give me 2 suggestions? So what you have to do is you ask the person, give me 2 suggestions to change this. And then the person will give you 2 suggestions. Now, you can't say anything else. You have to say just thank you. Oh, no, I can't do that. No. Those things won't come. But rather, you should say thank you. And then you move to the next person and ask the same question. I want to get better at public speaking. What are the 2 things that I would do? So, okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. You have to try to talk at least 2 or 3 people, ask the same question. Well, let's say Ahmad asks Lish, Lish can again ask Ahmad the same question. So you both have some, whatever you want to change, let's take an example of activity you want to change. Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, listen, 1 minute, 1 moment. I would give another instruction. Now you got 2 ways how you can improve on your behavior. Now again, turn to the friend and ask, based on my brainstorming sessions, I got these ideas. Can I really implement this? Can you give me 2 suggestions to improve, to make sure that I execute? Can you give me 2 suggestions? Do you all get the idea? Now you got two suggestions from your friend. Now you have to ask, how can I really implement this in real life, right? Okay, there you go. No, you can talk to him. No. Mitan, untuk kuwan. Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure you are enjoying the exercise. This is something you can take to your organizations and practice. You can do this even at home with your kids. You can go and ask your daughter, how can I be a better mommy? How can I be a better dad? They will give wonderful ideas and try to see whether you can implement it. Ask them, can I really implement the idea you gave? And because of this, you can have a better relationship with your child. You can have a better relationship with your peers, co-workers, bosses. So this is a powerful exercise. Now I have a question. I've talked about what coaching can do, how you can do it. Are you the procrastinators or the action takers? Who are the action takers? Let's raise your hands. Okay, I can see some hands coming up slowly, very hesitantly. Because although we learn something new, we are still hesitant, still procrastinating. What can we do, Bharti? This is how it is, right? We try to procrastinate. So let's try to be action takers. Let's take the action. Let's be the person you want to be. So thank you very much for listening very attentively. This is my LinkedIn. You can scan it and connect me on LinkedIn. Also, I'm available on all the social platforms as Hawwa Shaheena. It's a brand I've been creating for the last 12 years. And alhamdulillah, it's picking up slowly. So thank you very much. Any questions? No questions, right? Okay.
Thank you, Shaheena, for that very enthusiastic